The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast is made possible by the Spreely Network. It is the network, Spreely, for free thought and free people. I want you to go to your app store and download their Freedom Hub. Do it today, ladies and gentlemen. It's much too important. We depend on you. Freedom is waiting. The Freedom Hub from Spreely. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Today on the program, the Trump effect. It's taking root around the world. It's been taking root ever since Trump came on the scene in 2016, but we just don't hear about it from the mainstream media. Evidence that the liberal woke agenda is crumbling. The Trump effect is the reason why. We are now seeing the world vote leaders into power who want nationalism, patriotism, to put their countries first. In essence, putting the Trump effect first, bringing people around the world into power. The Netherlands, Argentina, and other places. It is happening. It is real. The Trump effect, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about it. The Right Side with Doug Billings is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right Side with Doug Billings, Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks very much for joining me across the world and around the planet. I appreciate you very much. Coming to you from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, around the world, glad tidings of joy as Advent season is upon us, and the advent of the Trump effect is obvious in the wake of elections happening in countries that have been plagued by liberal woke radicalism. There is a relief coming, and it's obvious. We're going to talk about it. The Trump effect. The Trump effect is a real phenomenon whereby people from all walks of life, from civilians to politicians to law enforcement officers, military personnel, teachers, doctors, lawyers, men and women who have obtained intellectual maturity, naturally born men and women everywhere, every demographic affected by the Trump effect. And it's a good thing. The Trump effect, when you summarize it, really is patriotism. The Trump effect is nationalism. It's the desire to see your country be made great and to be put first. And not just in America, ladies and gentlemen. Around the planet, every person in every country has, I think, the God-given right to make sure that they put their country first. And that is the Trump effect. It's based in the belief in God that our rights come from Him. The Trump effect is holding accountable people in positions of power, especially in elected power. It's about pride, but in a humble way, not an overbearing or boastful way. The Trump effect is not politically correct. The Trump effect is able to call out BS when it sees it. The Trump effect casts out radical left woke ideologies. The Trump effect is pro-life. The Trump effect is a return to traditional moral values in families and in relationships. The Trump effect is sweeping the planet, folks. And the people around the world are the inspiration for most of this. We have in our midst at least 3 or 4 right now places on earth where elections have been held, and the people within these countries have cast out the radical woke liberalism that they see. They're saying, no, thank you, not here, not on our watch, not in our country. So while we still are in the nightmare, we still have chaos around us. It is good every once in a while, and I try to be as hopeful as I can, but hope based in fact, hope based in reality is where we always come from on this program. I want to outline for you a few places and people around the earth where this is happening, where the Trump effect is taking root. And we know that it's taking root in these places because we can see results, specifically in elections that are being held. The first place I want to look at with you is the Netherlands. There is a gentleman there by the name of Geert Wilder, spelled like we would in America pronounce Wilder, but it's Wilder. Geert Wilder. He's the new president of the Netherlands. And by the way, look, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. It looks a lot like Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, snatched at birth, missing twin. What is this? I mean, look at that. It's actually an astonishing resemblance, I think. Geert and Jimmy. But more importantly, Geert Wilder, in all of his beliefs beyond just the political arena, he's a Christian. He's a Christian conservative who aligns with the approach, the platform, and the policy of Donald Trump, the Trump effect. He's a member of the Dutch Freedom Party. One of the key campaign platforms of his was immigration in the Netherlands. He's anti-Muslim. He's not afraid to say that out loud, and he believes that Islam is incompatible with Dutch Christian identity. He believes that Muslims and others, but primarily Muslims, when they illegally immigrate or even when they legally immigrate, capture the national identity of countries that they inhabit. And he's not going to have that in the Netherlands. I tend to believe Geert on this one, Mr. Wilder. They are the Muslims are kind of like that horde that come in, take over, bit by bit, and before you know it, national identity is erased. That is not a racist statement. It's a matter of observing factual evidence based in reality. Look at Europe, specifically, look at Germany. Germany has a huge identity problem, a national crisis. Their national identity is being erased by the Muslim community because of their, I think, very faulty and their frail, faulty, and ineffective immigration policies. But Geert Wilder believes that they should not be any immigration anymore into the Netherlands until they get a grip on what the current situation is. They can't afford to have their national identity erased. And he's prepared to say no to all immigration, no to asylum seekers, no one allowed in at all. And he's a supporter, if you may recall a couple of years ago, the Dutch farmers who rose up in protest. The previous Dutch leadership, wow, you talk about nut jobs, right? The kooks of the kooks. They were moving tyrannical legislation against these farmers and the Dutch agricultural industry as a whole. And it's not a very well-known fact, ladies and gentlemen, and you may not know this, but the Netherlands is the second largest agricultural exporter in the world. And since Europe has this whack job kook environmentalist movement and members of it who get triggered over cow flatulence, this presents the Green Party over there and all of its affiliates with a problem. Because the farmers are now up against the government. You've got Geert Wilder up. He's partnering with the farmers. The Dutch the parliament, just to give you a short history lesson, what they did, they went to the Hague, which is their parliament, and they put in place legislation that called for a radical 30% reduction in livestock. Now, if you're from Raytown, Missouri, that means horses, cows, and sheep, ladies and gentlemen. 30% reduction in livestock. Well, the farmers would have none of that. They organized, they stormed the Dutch Senate, they demanded that all this kind of nonsense be revoked and that the dignity of farming be restored. And the farmers won, ladies and gentlemen. And now with Geert Wilder in the House, having just won the presidency, it's clear that the Netherlands are shedding their liberal, tyrannical government away from them. And it's a good thing. It's a very good thing to see. So have hope out there. Other places in the world, this rise of the Trump effect and conservative moral values is prevailing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm against the first break. I've got to take it right now. Stay with me. I want to remind you that you can go to dougbillings.us, please, where you can see every show that we've ever done free of charge. Never a charge over there. But at the top of the page, you'll notice a support tab. Please click on it and offer a voluntary subscription to the program, won't you please? We need it. That's how we make a living. It's how we produce and create this show. So dougbillings.us should be one of your key stops, I hope, this holiday season. All right, I'll be right back after this very, very short break. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hey, folks, don't look now, but you're being lied to. Wall Street financial gurus are out there screaming to max out your 401k, max out your IRA. Yet the man who invented the 401k is saying, no, that's a failed experiment. In fact, we ought to scrub the entire 401k program. It's time for you to get the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Bank on yourself is a better way to grow and protect your hard-earned money. This retirement plan alternative has never had a losing year in over 160 years. Guaranteed, predictable growth and retirement income with Bank on Yourself. Your plan doesn't go backwards when markets tumble, folks. Your principal and your growth are locked in. Tax-free retirement income. You'll know exactly what your tax rate is in retirement. 0 under current tax law, which will protect you against the upcoming and inevitable tax tsunami. You're in control. You can get a hold of your money, access it, withdraw it anytime you want for any reason with no government penalties, no government restrictions. Try doing that with your 401k or your IRA. You can't. And almost anybody can do this. Built-in inflation protection. Your money is guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and in bad. I mean, do you want guaranteed, predictable annual growth? Predictable growth of your money. Tax-free retirement income. Do you want all of that? Of course you do. Then go to bankonyourself.com/Doug. We will send you a free report with this proven retirement plan alternative that banks and Wall Street hope you never hear about. Bankonyourself.com/Doug. Do it today, ladies and gentlemen, for your free report. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I admit it, even during this holiday season, I take a great deal of delight pointing out the intellectual immaturity of liberals everywhere. I do, and I do it with your help, ladies and gentlemen. And you, by virtue of watching this program, become members of the most intellectually mature audience in all of podcast land. So that was Geert Wilder. We talked about him, the Netherlands. Another spot on the planet where we should be looking is Argentina. And I like Javier Milie, ladies and gentlemen. Javier of Argentina, last name Milie. He's got a media background. You can tell when you watch him, obviously. He's very comfortable in front of a camera. He's got charisma. He's got sense of humor. He's a straight shooter. He is not politically correct. He has no experience in politics whatsoever. So coming in this political arena, going up against the slate of candidates that were there, he prevails, and he is now the president of Argentina. He ran on a straight conservative platform, everything that we like. He refers to liberals as libtards. Some of you out there with soft feelings, not really those of you in this audience, but for those of you that are just watching the show or listening to it for the first few times, we don't really, we're not politically correct, and we don't shy away from words that may hurt other people's feelings. In fact, we do that because we think it helps we think that it helps you become stronger in the long run. So libtards is what Javier Milie refers to liberals as. And he doesn't hold back when he gives blame for them for their tyranny and their oppression, and nor should he, because what they have done is incredulous. He too is concerned about immigration, the effects of radical liberalization, including the radical left woke agenda, and how he wants to return Argentina to traditional Christian values. His campaign slogan, "Make Argentina Great Again." Wonder where we got that. The Trump effect, ladies and gentlemen, it's strong and it's sweeping the planet. Netherlands, Argentina. And then our third look, I want to look at Ireland. Not so much at an elected official in Ireland, but rather the We the People movement in Ireland. Because in that country recently, there was an Algerian migrant who had a knife, went about wielding it, killed some students and a teacher and so forth. And the Irish people are taking to the streets in protest about this issue because they are now realizing the dangers of unfettered access to their country, immigration laws and policies that are dangerous to Ireland and the Irish people. And, my family hails from Ireland. That's the land of my ancestors, Ireland and England. So I take interest in these stories from my homeland, those of you in Ireland. And I know that many of you watch. I looked before I started the show, County Cork, Kearney, and we've even won an email from Belfast within the last few weeks. So I know that you're out there in Ireland. I know that you listen, and I pay attention to you, and I love you all out there. I've got to get over there to visit. What we've seen, the government of Ireland, however, over the last several years, take a radical turn towards the left, and the people are waking up to it, and they're now tired of it. The Irish government is so woke, ladies and gentlemen, that they're actually blaming this migrant violence and the murder of people, children and teachers. They're blaming this all, the Irish government is, on people who hold what they call radical right-wing philosophies. If we were just nicer to each other, this wouldn't happen. Really. Now, let me tell you what it means when governments say things like that. Whenever the left tries to label us by calling us radical right-wingers or the people who hold radical right-wing philosophies, they're projecting and they're gaslighting, ladies and gentlemen. It's their political policies and politics and platforms that have allowed chaos to rain down upon us. It's not our beliefs that have done it, it's theirs. Whether it's a migrant with a knife, it's their policy. Whether it's the elimination of border security, whether it's the elimination of energy independence, whether it's the intent to erase God from society, whatever it may be. These are all byproducts of, if not in fact components of, the politics, platform, and policies of the radical left woke movement around the world. And the Irish people have risen up to protest it. And the Irish government is saying it's the Irish people, the ones who hold, those godly traditional family values, they're to blame for this migrant violence. It's an example of how a government is attempting to gaslight its own population who happen to have a very different opinion about any issue, in this case immigration, than the government does. And the government of Ireland is demonstrating right before our very eyes how the radical left will cancel you, even cancel an entire demographic of people who dare to disagree with a regime and their tyranny. So again, I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, liberalism is on the decline, and the people of the world are waking up by the millions. This Trump effect is in fact catching on. It's been catching on ever since Trump came on the scene. This has been the case. People around the planet have loved the guy. It doesn't get reported, of course, because the mainstream media will hide it from us. They can't dare let news of this get out. The people of the world like Trump. Oh my gosh, we can't. That's completely against the narrative. We can't let that get out. But they are like us. These people from around the world, they're part of and compromise what I've called the remnant. All of this, and the remnant is biblical, I know, and I grant you that, and there's a certain biblical sense to it in the way that I use the term. All of this is inspired, obviously, by President Trump. All of this is ignited by the belief in God. God has his hand in all of this. I think the artistry of this is definitely God-given. Politicians or would-be politicians are rising up and calling out radical liberalism for what it is, and that is tyranny, plain and simple. Liberalism provides for moral bankruptcy, and it therefore creates within it a coalition of immorality. That's what these people are. They seek to throw God out of society. That's their number one order. Before anything political, before anything financial or economic, is to get rid of God. Number one, and that's not my opinion, that's a matter of record. Blinded Christians who are out there and people of faith throughout the world falsely believe that they can remain culturally neutral with regards to religion and the existence of God and the political system in our societies, that people can still reach moral conclusions if they remain culturally or religiously neutral within a society. This is not true. If we agree that Jesus is Lord, then we have to also admit that Caesar is not, meaning that the government is not. And around the world, again, people realize this truth. You know, socialism, taking from each other, it doesn't work. And Margaret Thatcher said it probably the best when she said the problem with socialism is that you will sooner or later run out of other people's money. And so the battle we are engaged in is a battle of good versus evil, ladies and gentlemen. That simple. I'm going to pick up on that when I come back again. Time flies. We're up against our second break already for the show. DougBillings.us. Ladies and gentlemen, please head over there and click on the support tab. That's how we make a look. We're giving you the show for free on that website, everywhere. DougBillings.us. Head over there. Support us, please. We appreciate it. I'll be right back. God bless you. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older, and it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. liveyoungerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great, and so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings, where I'm presenting you views from the side of light, logic, truth, and God. All right. Around the world, the Trump effect. That's what we're talking about today. We're seeing evidence of it everywhere. We've talked about the Netherlands, Argentina, Ireland. Clearly, you all know we see it here in the United States. And the battle that we're engaged in is not just between a political view or a policy or a platform. It is really a battle of good versus evil. And it's important that we understand this. We are people of faith. And we believe that we have a certain calling and a duty in life to follow God, to try to build up the kingdom of heaven here on earth, and then upon our death here on earth, arrive at the reward of heaven in the afterlife. That's a lot what we all try to espouse. We all try to accomplish that. The good versus evil part I want to talk about in terms of our governments, not only in the United States, but around the world. The conservative movement sprang from godly traditional values. It has at its core a belief in God, that our rights come from God, that God imparts all of us with equality, fairness, rights, privileges, and so forth. And we have the right to pursue those rights. Happiness, for example, as it says in our founding documents. We have the ability to see wonder, joy, and meaning in this life precisely because of our conservative values. Have you ever looked at how bleak the liberal worldview is? It's always so dark and bleak and unhappy, and we've got to have more. We got to take. Where conservatives are genuinely, I think, wired to be people who, by the most part, default to the positive. Now, they sometimes get despondent. We'll talk about that in a moment. The tendency and the temptation of the evil one are real. But we have this aura about us, an aura of hope and of enthusiasm about what the future can bring, because we know how great it can be in America and around the world when we engage in godly traditional values. Many of you out there become despondent, I think, or discouraged, or a combination of the two. And discouraged is not to be taken lightly. Discouragement is a huge problem. I can't tell you how many times I see on social media that at their core, some comments that are very despondent, very discouraged. I might post something, for example, about how Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Alexandria, was at the Capitol on January 6th, which she was. And she was filming a documentary about insurrection. Imagine that. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. Well, I'll post this and I'll say, I pointed out a week after the fact that Alexandria Pelosi was at the Capitol and she was filming a movie about insurrection. What the heck is going on here? And people will respond, well, that's it. We're done. It's over. Why don't these people ever face accountability? We're never going to have a country anymore. Why don't they put them in Gitmo? All this stuff. So first of all, for those of you that continually throw Gitmo into the mix, forget about Gitmo. We're not going to be sending anybody to Gitmo. There's not going to be a Nuremberg 2.0. All right. There's not going to be this. Now, we can hold people accountable, and it will happen in good order when we, the people, are back in control of, in our case, in America, Washington, D.C., in the White House, in the Senate, in the Congress. But there's a bleak wave of feeling and emotion that goes out over social media that I want to comment about, because it is based in this discouragement that we shouldn't really feel. We will see people come to justice. We may not see it in quite the way that we think we will, but it's a real big deal. One of my all-time favorite holiday movies is It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. At the beginning of the movie, God is having a conversation with St. Joseph because they see George down on earth struggling and so forth. And Clarence, the guardian angel, comes into the picture, and they're talking, and God is going to send Clarence, the guardian angel, down to take care of George Bailey, for those of you that have seen the movie. And Clarence goes, great, that's great. I'm going to get to go down. What's wrong with George Bailey? Is he sick? And God says, no, worse. He's discouraged. So it's a real deal, discouragement. I get it. I'm not making light of anybody who's discouraged out there. When they look at the nightmare, I understand it completely. But I want to give you hope here. I also understand that frustration can enter into the picture and how the current situation can lead people to feel despondent and discouraged. But again, since we're scripturally based people, since we're Christian based people, I'm reminded of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. Again, Joshua's victory at Jericho did not happen overnight. During the course of that campaign, he felt many of the same things that we feel around the world: discouragement, despondency, impatience, etc. And what did God do? What did he tell Joshua to do? Do you remember? God said, get up. We've got more work to do. In fact, we got to go deal with the traitors that are inside of our own camp. Doesn't that sound like us today, ladies and gentlemen? Traitors in our own camp? Yeah, you bet we have them. They're called rhinos. Neocons, liberals against the very American foundation that the founders and God put in place in the first place. There are people out there that want to fundamentally transform America. Does that sound familiar? Obama wasn't messing around. And we should take a lesson from Joshua and Jericho from God, because our current endeavor is to save the republic. And indeed, we have to save the world from the radical liberalism that is out there, that it's spreading, and it won't happen overnight. The people responsible for this nightmare and for the breaches of laws and rules, the Joe Bidens of the world, the members of his family, the Hillary Clinton family, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, all of them, Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, the BLM and the Antifa movements, these folks who have used government in corrupt ways, either to gain personally and financially, who have purposefully cast upon us realms of tyranny that we've never seen before. These people may not see our version of justice in our time frame, but nevertheless, we press on, marching forward, because our determined patriotism demands it. It demands that we get involved in our local levels of government. Determined patriotism is what we do as conservatives. We will let justice win the day, and it will catch up to those who have done wrong in some form or fashion. And we realize, because we're part of a conservative and intellectually mature movement, that sometimes these people receive justice in our eyes, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't receive justice in our time. Sometimes they do. But everybody receives justice in God's eyes and in God's time, ladies and gentlemen. So don't be despondent. Look around you. There is hope abundantly clear everywhere if you take the time to look. You want 3 quick hits? Here they are. The 3 quick hits of good news that we need to remember was that Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Number 2, we've repealed affirmative action. Number 3, we have Trump-like political winners around the globe, and the rise of the Trump effect is happening. It is real. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for my third break of the day. Hey, we've got to go into capitalism here and try to make a living. I'm always reminding you here that we need you to go to DougBillings.us and click on the support tab over there, please. DougBillings.us, 5, 10, 20, 100, whatever you can afford a month over there. It's all voluntary. It's how we make a living. It's how we keep this show going. We simply need your help. DougBillings.us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back right after this break. God bless. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
All right, everybody, welcome back to The Right Side with Doug Billings. By every move I make and every breath I take, I'm doing what you do out there. We're saving the republic. Our involvement in this mess is what matters, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That's the plan. This is all what will come down to our involvement as far as the Trump effect, making it come true, getting Trump back into office, reclaiming the republic from the radical left liberal mob out there. It all depends on us, you and me. And so we together rise up, and we are doing just that, trying to save the republic. And there's great reason to be hopeful out there. The remnant is alive and well. We're seeing a great reawakening to the divine providence of God, and we are, therefore, seeing results around the world. We've talked about them. To recap, the Netherlands Argentina, Ireland, the United States, we're all course correcting and we're getting back on track. But we still have people out there that are despondent, some people that aren't still quite yet awake. The battle of good and evil is a real one. The enemy does not want us to see the hope that is out there. And we have people out there that continually battle that little, I call it the demon of pessimism, right? That instead of being optimistic, they see the negative, they default to the negative, they don't default to the positive. You know, people who it's been 3 years, Doug. It's been 3 years since Trump was robbed of an election. We've got Biden in office and all of their policies, their procedures, the border, energy. Look at what we did with the Taliban over there. Iran's getting strength. I mean, look at what's happening. Got the Ukraine to work. So what's going to happen? We're not going to have a country in 2 more years, Doug. It's all going to be gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not on our deathbed. America is not on our deathbed. There are vast millions of people who would never let that happen. There are people out there who are not awake to all of the facets of the dilemmas that we face. Remember, the radical left have been setting about their nefarious plans for 127 years. I've told you this before. They want America to turn away from God. They want to transform America away from the intent of the founding fathers and from God himself. And the person who causes our despondency or our impatience or our feelings of hopelessness is really the devil himself. That's who causes all of this despondency, all of the feelings of hopelessness. We reject the notion that we cannot win. We reject the notion that there is no time to save our republic. We reject the notion that there is nothing we can do. We reject the notion that in 3 years our country is going to be over and done with. We reject the notion that those responsible for this nightmare will not see justice. We reject the notion of despondence. We reject the tendency to become impatient. And what do conservatives then have to do? We've rejected the negative. We've rejected the enemy and the influences that he may have on us. Now we have to accept. We have to accept certain things in our conservatism. We have to accept that believing in us, in we the people, are the sole source and identity of the solutions to this nightmare and this chaos that has encapsulated us. We have to accept and believe that ultimately we will prevail, but it will take more time and effort than we would probably like. We have to accept and believe that conservatism never gives up, and that during times of adversity, challenge, and tragedy, we conservatives are able to see through that and to find and experience and discover specific and unique sets of gifts. Yes, I said gifts from adversity, challenge, and tragedy that are brought to us through those times. We see that everything that comes our way has got to be seen as a gift, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you for this good thing. Thank you for this challenge, Lord. Let it make me stronger in my endeavors. Bless me through this tragedy, Lord, and give me strength, and I will become stronger. Strength through adversity is real, and we conservatives understand that. We can wrap our heads around it. We accept and we believe that conservatives are the remnant who will restore the Republic of the United States to the true and original intent of God and the founding fathers. You know, you see everything that comes your way as a gift. You try it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You've had a tragedy in your life, the loss of a child, the loss of a loved one, divorce, cancer, etc. Join the club, so have I. And we see gifts that come to us as a result of those things. That's where gratitude is born, and gratitude is necessary. Grateful people, ladies and gentlemen, happen to be the happiest people on the planet, by the way. And this is all cascading down upon us. This is not unique just to America. It happens all around the world. We are, as a global conservative community, rising up and engaging in one form or another of the Trump effect, of nationalism, of patriotism. And this wave of patriotism within these countries is a death blow to the people like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and Yuval Noah Harari. It's a death blow to their push for the Great Reset and this one world order that they all seek. It's a death blow to humanism. We realize that we want certain things from our societies, whether it's the Netherlands, whether it's Argentina, Ireland, the United States, or wherever. We are realizing that we want our societies to be made up of people like us, people who hold traditional Christian moral values. We want nationalism. And in a broad sense, what that means is traditional moral Christian values. We want it in America, and Donald Trump represents that. We want the inclusion of God in society and life. Donald Trump and the Trump effect represents that. We want a limit or an end to immigration. We want a deportation of those who have arrived here illegally. We want common sense in government and law. We want transgenderism to be recognized as what it is, a mental disorder. We want the LGBTQ kook movement to be recognized for what it is, a coalition of immorality. And the lists could go on, but this is what summarizes our nationalism, our patriotism, the way that we turn back to God. And the Karens out there, the woke, liberal, wussified people who can't hear those words without going into a safe room, occupy a vast minority of our population. But they have the bullhorn of the media. So it makes it appear as if they're greater in number, but they're not. The global radical left woke agenda of humanism and the New World Order that's outlined in what they call the Great Reset is diminishing. And it has been diminishing for several decades. We just don't hear about it in the mainstream media. That's why we're becoming more and more aware of all of their plans, their politics, their platforms. They've accelerated the release of them because they are in their death pangs, ladies and gentlemen. They're in full force kamikaze mode, flying their immorality, their ungodly politics, platforms, and policies into our moral society. And their only attempt is to destroy and transform those societies into something that resembles more of a coalition of immorality. Remember their mantra, build back better? The word that they left out was destroy. I was the first one that, as soon as I heard them say build back better, I said, wait a minute, you're destroying us and you're building back in your image, the immoral, corrupted, anti-God, anti-America value image of the radical left. But they are losing, my friends. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. Look what's happening around the world. Look at people who want to be pictured with and near President Trump, military, law enforcement, health professionals, ordinary citizens. Administrator Biden can't get anyone, or nobody on the radical left can get those kind of numbers that want to get a picture taken. It's not just a small example. It's everything. It shows you the magnitude of the support that Trump has. Nations around the world are engaging in the America First initiative by putting themselves first. Argentina first, Netherlands first, Ireland first, as they should. And it is as it should be. Ladies and gentlemen, chin up. We are winning. The Trump effect is real, and it's taking root around the planet. Look forward to seeing you next time. Head over to dougbillings.us, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to spending a happy holiday season with you as well. Merry Christmas. God bless you. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.